where we're really in San Francisco. It's a big time for the launch of the new product by the Man in Black. We're simulating this afternoon with our very own, one of our favourite quantum physicists and celebrated authors. Would you give it up for the launch of Quokka, the quantum computing in the palm of your hand, Chris Berry, co-founder of Eigensystems.
All right, great. That was a great introduction. So I'm Chris Berry. You may know me as the author of Quantum Physics for Babies or Quantum Bullshit. Not for the same audience. But clearly I have a passion for education, particularly quantum education, and that's why Simon Levitt and I co-founded Eigensystems. So at Eigensystems, our mission is to democratize access to this new and fast-growing field of quantum computing by empowering scientists, engineers, and innovators of the new generation through education. Quantum technology faces limited engagement beyond the elite researchers that you see today, and that means that we need to reimagine what quantum education is and who it's for. At Eigensystems, we think quantum education should be for everyone. Quantum literacy will define the cutting edge of 21st century innovation. Traditional STEM education is kind of stale. If you go to a school, you'll see it's still based on 100-year-old pedagogy. And today, the world, in its massively interconnected aspects, is driven by information processing. At Eigensystems, we're going to lead this revolution in reimagining what education is. So today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to the world's first consumer product in quantum computing. And if you look at the screen, you'll see what it's all about. So this is Quokka. It's your personal quantum computer. It boasts a quantum volume of over 1 billion. It's a zero error rate, 30 qubit quantum processing environment. We designed Quokka with 5 principles in mind. The first is accessibility. So the Quokka is designed to be accessible and user-friendly for students, educators, and hobbyists to explore the world of quantum computing. Accuracy, so Quokka allows users to experiment and learn about quantum algorithms and programs by interfacing with it exactly how they would have to interface with a future fault-tolerant quantum computer. Versatility, so the Quokka can be used for a variety of purposes, including teaching, research, and hobby projects, making it a versatile tool for anyone interested in quantum computing. Affordability, so the Quokka is affordable, making it accessible to a wider range of users, including schools and educators with a limited budget. And most importantly, tactility. So the Quokka allows users to explore the potential applications of quantum computing, providing a hands-on and tactile experience with cutting-edge technology. So you're probably thinking, wow, this looks great, awesome commercial, wonderful pitch, but I'm kind of sick of these quantum hype announcements. Well, you're in luck because the Quokka isn't just an idea, it's actually a reality, so I can show you it today. Just get plugged in here. So that's Quokka. It's here today. We have pilot customers all over the world experiencing quantum computing in ways that you never thought possible. We have about 50 Quokkas registered, automated, and running quantum jobs today. To put it another way, I think it's fair to say that we're managing the largest fleet of physical quantum computing systems in the world. So, what does your Quokka journey look like? Out of the box, it works like any smart device. So with our mobile app, you pair your Quokka to your home, school, or office network. The app allows you to manage potentially your shaka. That's actually a collective noun for Quokkas, in case you didn't know that. So it allows you to manage your shaka of Quokkas, receive over-the-air updates, share access to your devices, and see real-time diagnostic information. But the Quokka isn't just a physical tool. It's part of a dynamic learning ecosystem built to reach students, enthusiasts, and professionals alike. So let me tell you about that. So Free for Everyone is our sandbox programming interface that has multiple coding tools as well as community-generated content. Advanced users will have access to lessons, tutorials, curated content, the ability to share, mix, and co-create projects. And then Quokka Stories are narrative lessons targeting the educational curriculum. We want to reimagine science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and how it's taught through the lens of information processing. So, about those programming environments. So, the Quokka computing platform comprises 4 different programming interfaces. The first we're all familiar with. It's in the middle left there. It's the circuit builder. So, we have a full set of features, including intuitive custom gate functionality. We promise it'll be the smoothest quantum circuit constructor you've ever used. Next, we have everyone's second favorite on the left is code. So of course, with our embedded notebooks, we allow users to have a fully functional and customizable programming environment, giving direct API access to your Quokka, so that you'll be an intuitive quantum programmer in no time. In the middle, we have a new kind of programming language, our graph state programming language. It's unique to quantum, and it provides a powerful set of visualization, manipulation, and programming tools to program a quantum computer. The last I'm most excited about, I'll show you a little demo in a second, is a block-based programming environment. We codenamed it Quantum Scratch, we'll probably have to change the name. But if you have a child, or you know or have learned about programming in elementary or high school, you would have used Scratch. Scratch is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. It's used by over 100 million users in 200 countries and 70 languages. And now people will be programming quantum computers with it. So here's a little sneak peek of our interface. Of course, you can customize it. I'm going to go ahead and choose my green theme. I'm going to click and drag, create my custom gate. I can always see what's inside the gate, or I can collapse that if I want. Let me call that my oracle. And I'm going to pop over to my Quantum Scratch, and you can see that my custom gate's already defined. But on my circuit, I have these 3 repeated gates. That's ugly. If you're if you're a programmer, you don't want to have repeated things. So we're going to create a loop instead. Get rid of those superposition gates. We don't want repeated stuff in our program. And we're going to put one of them inside the loop. We'll put that back onto our program. But this is quantum, so we're going to need some interference. So we'll put another loop on there, throw another superposition gate in. And when we put these back onto our program, they will click into place. And then when we go back over to our circuit composer, we can see that those gates that are defined in the block-based language now appear on our circuit. The file that you need to send to your Quokka, remember, this is a device that acts like a fault-tolerant quantum computer. You have API access, you have to send your gate calls to it, and you get results. Anything else that you want to do with it, you have to build on top of it. That's the constraint that you will have with an actual quantum computer, and that's the constraint that we engineer into this device. So that gets sent to the Quokka, and then the result is returned. So it's going to be the most intuitive, easy to use, user-friendly way to program quantum computers. Quokka stories are narrative-driven lessons targeted at the educational curriculum. As we're all painfully aware, the word quantum does not appear in the national or any state curriculum, and at the pace with which these things change at the policy level, I'm not hoping to see it in my lifetime. Now, we do have students that come into universities, like there's exploratory subjects where they can come in one at a time to learn about quantum computing, but this isn't enough. What we have in mind at Eigensystems, I'm going to show you an example of. So next, I'm going to show you a little video of how we teach light polarization, which is in the science curriculum, using Quokka. So this is a iOS and Android app, and this is a lesson on light polarization. We have a multimedia presentation of the things that the students need to learn. But the fun part starts when we have this narrative where the student takes control of the character. She has her favorite star. She needs to know the polarization of the light coming from this star, but the atmosphere is messing it up. So she's going to use a quantum sensor. Okay? The quantum sensor is connected to a single qubit quantum processor. That's her Quokka. So this is a mixed reality simulation of what would happen in the real world. Now, she has a polarizer on her quantum sensor, and that's encoded on the Quokka, and the processing is done on the Quokka, and results are returned one bit at a time. She's receiving one photon at a time in her quantum sensor, changing the polarization, going back and forth however she wants, building up statistics until it's time to fit that data, and voila, by experimentation, she learns about Malice's law. Okay? So the beauty of this is it's a fully integrated lesson. We have science, we learn about Malice's law. We have technology, we have our Quokka. We have engineering, we have to encode that data of polarization into a gate that runs on the quantum computer. And we have mathematics. We get to see and choose how the law of large numbers gets built up. So the first sort of truly integrated step C in the context of education. Okay, so this is kind of probably the question that's on your mind. I mean, I'm hoping you all want one by now, but you want to know what the price tag is. As you know, 30-qubit quantum computers run in the tens of millions. You can also buy a faulty 2-qubit device for tens of thousands if you like. But I'm pleased to let you know that you don't have to sell your house in Sydney or Ballarat. The Quokka retails at $350, and we'll be shipping them in July. You'll be able to pre-order them from our website in a few months' time. That's not all. For die-hard enthusiasts, we've partnered with the RAC and Pascal to create collector's edition Quokkas designed to resemble their cutting-edge systems. They look like this. So the Quokka collectible series aims at showcasing the cutting-edge R&D that's happening all over the world. Quantum computing systems come in all shapes and sizes, as we've seen in the next room, and we're extremely proud to announce this partnership. So this is our, on the left, our silicon-based Dirac Quokka, and on the right, our neutral atom-based Pascal Quokka. So those will be available this year, so we're promised to have those shipped by Christmas, and we're hoping that all the hardware vendors all over the world want to get involved, and for the completionists in the audience, you can collect the whole set. Okay, so I think I've sold 95% of you. To get the last 5%, there's one more thing. So at Eigensystems, pushing the limits is our default state. So here's a glimpse of Quokka's future. So right now, Quokka is about learning in your hands. With Quokka Multiverse, we're going to shift that experience to an entirely new realm. Imagine your quantum code interacting with the world around you. The new dimensions of possibilities will be coming in 2025. Okay, so I want to kind of wrap up by saying Eigen Systems, we're looking to revolutionize the way people learn about quantum computing and education in general. And we hope you can join us. In fact, 10 of you can join us today because my co-founder Simon hid 10 Quokkas under the seats of the audience. So if you look under your seats, I get my note for a moment. There are 10 Quokkas. There's one. You're not allowed to count that. So we stand at the threshold of a quantum-powered era, and we don't want you to just sit and observe this revolution. We want you to become a driving force. So if you visit quokkacomputing.com today, you can register your interest and be notified when pre-sales are available, and join us in shaping the future of quantum computing and education. Thank you.
Especially once we went under the chairs, I was feeling very San Francisco there, except I don't think anything was ever given away for free back in those days. Chris, that was a fantastic presentation, and you really played with all of the marketing tools, so well done. As someone who used to be a science and maths teacher in high schools, I'm really interested in how you see who you see being able to use these lessons in the school situation, because part of the big problem is not having teachers who are comfortable enough with the tech or with the ideas to do the teaching.
That's a good question. I think we want to make it accessible for as young as audience as possible. So there's coding tools available for toddlers now, and I don't see a barrier to be able to teach people that can move blocks around can learn about quantum programs. And if we make it simple and accessible enough, then teachers aren't going to be afraid to use it.
And it's absolutely gorgeous, so I hope the Jobs fraternity doesn't mind the complete ripping off of their styling. Sure, they're not
I'm taking this off immediately.
and speaking of litigious, I'm sure Pawsey doesn't mind the complete frosting of the Quokka.
This is an Eastern Australian
The
Quokka.
well-known Eastern Australian Quokka.
Raised in captivity.
That's going to
fly.
Do we have any questions for Chris? I've got one on Slido already. We'd love to see some in the room. Great, thank you.
Hello, Chris. Can you hear me and everything? All right. So I'm probably one of the youngest people here, fresh out of high school in a place that was from essentially the middle of nowhere, where funding was really low. And so things like this are wonderful, but what is the difference between a Quokka and hopping on Qiskit on your own time? Because COVID was the best thing that ever happened to me because it meant that I was outside of the HSE system and I had free time to do whatever I liked. But something like a Quokka would be too much money for someone who lived in the middle of nowhere. Thank you.
It's a good question. I think what I found when I teach quantum computing, so we did, first of all, we started the company through COVID. And as you do when you start companies, you talk to investors, it's really boring talking to them over Zoom. When I talked to them in person for the first time, I didn't do the same pitch. I took the device and put it in front of them and said, that's a quantum computer. It changes the way people think. The same thing happens in education. If you take in a quantum computing subject, you start with, here's a qubit, it looks like this, here's a vector with Greek letters in it, and it's all very abstract, and students are not engaged. But if you start the lecture with the device, you put it on the desk, and you say, that's a quantum computer, and in this subject, you're going to program that device. It changes the level of engagement for students. And I think that's the difference between the standard way in which we teach quantum computing and what you can do with a Quokka. Now, I don't know what happens when I send my request to a cloud device. They could have a Quokka there, simulating the results and sending it back. There's no way to know whether or not your instructions at the level of a few qubits is actually being run on it. Well, there's a way because ours gives correct results and ones on the cloud don't. But there's no difference, right? And it's better to have something tactile you can see, touch, interact with. Now, with regards to the price, I understand that, and as we move forward, we're going to do everything we can. You heard yesterday, we're creating nonprofit organizations that can help with the cost of these for low socioeconomic locations, and we'll look for philanthropic investments and things like that to make it as accessible as possible.
I think this whole idea of just bringing that in, plonking it down and saying this is a quantum computer, have a play, is just genius from a pedagogical angle as well. We've got other questions there, yeah? While we're waiting for that, does the RBG make it run faster?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The superposition, you can see it happening right there.
So many. Yeah? Oh, over here? Yes? Have you got a microphone? No, wait for the microphone. Oh, you've got a microphone there, sorry. Yeah.
So I've got to ask the Brad Pitt, the movie 7 question. What's in the box? What's in the box, Chris?
It's a 30-qubit quantum computer.
But I'm a knuckle-dragging experimentalist. I wanted to, is it photons? Is it in V centers? Is it, be still my heart trapped in terbium ions?
It's silicon-based.
Toxic sand.
I can tell you that much.
All right. What is the most complicated algorithm that Quokka can run?
Well, as I said, it can run 30-qubit quantum algorithms. In the context of education, that's not typically what you do. You start with small quantum circuits. So most of the circuits that are run. Simon, do you have a number? How many have we run in the subject?
Total circuits implemented, about 4 million.
About 4 million circuits have run on our Quokkas, and they're typically small qubit number circuits because those are the ones that are used in the context of education.
Great, we've got a question there and then one here.
Thanks, Chris and Simon, for making quantum more accessible. Is this behind the scene related? Is this a state vector simulator, tensor network simulator?
It's a secret simulator.
Yep, no, that's it. That's all you're getting today. It's a secret simulator. Yes, your question?
Yeah. I guess this is somewhat similar to the previous one, so I'm not sure if you'll be willing to give an answer, but is there any special hardware in there that makes, like, taking a qubit gate and applying it across all the various entangled states quick and efficient? Like, in terms of selecting everything that is with every memory address that has certain bits set to certain values and letting everyone else vary? Or is it pretty much just a a microcontroller or a small computer with 2 to the 30 bits of normal RAM?
It's a good question. So I'll phrase the answer this way. So the innovation is software defined, right? It is conventional computing, right? And a good analogy I like is when you go into schools, the latest piece of technology that's in schools is a 3D printer, and that's now 20 years old. But what is the purpose? The purpose is to emulate what's happening on the industrial scale, and that's what we're doing with Quokka. We're emulating what you're going to see on the industrial scale. So we're using conventional electronics, conventional computing, and all of the innovation that allows us to do what we do with the Quokka is software defined.
And the value of giving people something, just demystifying, giving them a tool they can play with at the scale that they're ready to use is gold in educational terms. So big cheers from me. This question, only 30 qubits, why not 50, 100? Think bigger, that's from S. Jobs. And speed-wise, how does it compare to a laptop?
It's faster than a laptop. We benchmarked it out against some of the cloud services as well. It's the fastest of all of them. What was the beginning part of the question? Oh, why not 50? Well, you could put two beside each other and make it 31. It's exponential growth. We're looking at improving upon our emulation techniques, and that will be coming in the future. And who knows, maybe one day we'll really push the limits. But of course, we'll never be able to reap the benefits of like the exponential advantage that new technology in quantum computing that's being built by all the great hardware vendors around the
Right.
world.
Someone may have noticed the cable running from Quokka through your sleeve and down the back of your jumper and sent in this question, can Quokka run without the internet?
Yeah, absolutely. So it connects to your local Wi-Fi network. So that onboarding app connects it to your local Wi-Fi network. That doesn't have to be connected to the internet. So you run all of your jobs through the Wi-Fi network. Now, the easiest way to do it is that if you get your own, your Quokka gets its own address at quokkacomputing.com. So it's more convenient with the internet, and then you can use our web app that I showed, but it doesn't necessarily need the internet.
This question I feel was already asked in the first question, but just it got voted up. Why use Quokka when Qiskit is free?
I've used, I think what IBM has done is great. I've used it in the context of teaching before, but the latency involved in trying to communicate, getting time on their devices, even as an educator, they gave me special access. It just didn't work. It just didn't work for me. And again, as you mentioned, as I mentioned, it's a physical device that you put in front of students. And when you have that in front of the students, they gather around it and they all want to use it, see what it's about, and try to interact with it.
And final question, can Quokka simulate quantum chemistry? It was
Well, absolutely, if you have a small scale enough problem.
issue, beautiful. One thing I didn't have time to ask about, but I'm sure is 100% validated and true, is the double slit experiment on the macro scale that we saw being enacted in the commercial at the start. So well done on achieving that. That's long been wished for. Would you join me in thanking and congratulating Chris Berry and Simon Devitt for launching the Quokka quantum in the palm of your hand. Congratulations. And obviously you'll be sticking around